By golly, it is another edition of Tell Me Why. We comb the 4 states, the whole world in fact, and we ask kids, maybe not kids, maybe a little bit older, younger, you name it. If you got a question, we will find the person, the expert who can answer these questions. Today, obviously, it's sports because we got all the sports stuff behind us, and we have Ryan Bunnell, who is the sports director for KSN, KODE, and all of the states north of the equator. So he's going to answer all of these incredible questions, but first let's find out a little bit about Ryan. Ryan, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm from Texas, born and raised. My first time actually in the 4 states was when I accepted this job. But in terms of sports, I grew up playing them all. Baseball, t-ball, a little bit of everything, whether it be soccer, basketball, little league, select travel ball. So I don't know every question, but I would hope to know that I know a little bit about some sports.
So where's the accent? There's no Texas accent in it.
I hear that a lot, actually. There isn't much of a southern drawl as much as you would expect. I mean, certain parts maybe in more southern Texas. Now, there were still some cowboy hats, horses around the neighborhood where I grew up, so it's still a little bit southern down there.
Okay, well, you're doing a great job of keeping it hidden, and I bet you have it in your back pocket if you need it at some Texas-related event.
You talking cowboy hats?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever rocked one. I think I got some cowboy boots, though, that broke out a couple times.
You know what? You put those on, the hat's next, and after that, you're up on a bronc.
And you're ready
somewhere.
to get a lasso out.
Yeah, not Ted. We use the real ones around here in the 4 states. All right, so are you ready to answer some pertinent questions about the sports world? Because you're obviously the expert. I'm obviously not the expert, but I get to work with you a little bit on answering these great questions.
I hope so. Let's do it.
All right, let's find out who our new question asker is, and let's hear the question too.
My name is Greg, and I'm 8, and I want to know who invented football.
By golly, that's a pretty good question from Greg. You 8-year-old question guy, you. So Ryan, I don't know the answer to this. That's why we have experts. Ryan, who was the father? Who invented the sport?
Well, there's not really a direct answer. It kind of evolved from other sports such as soccer, rugby, but there is one particular individual that's kind of credited as being the father of American football, and that's Walter Camp. He was a Yale University athlete, and he's the one that really implemented, the snap, the line of scrimmage, the first down, fourth down, third down concept, all of those modern things.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And I mean, the game has changed over the years from 1860s or 60s. This is what I'm talking. We're going back to the 1800s when this game was invented. So now, fast forward 2028 coming up, it's going to be in the Olympic Games. So it has just evolved from the beginnings to now, and it's been quite a journey for football.
So prior to American football, what were kids playing? Were they playing soccer? Were they playing all these various other games here in the States?
That's a great question. I did not happen to be alive in the 1860s, but I would guess America's America's pastime, baseball. So I would say baseball, you just need a wooden bat and a stick. And I think we'll get to some baseball questions here in a second soon. But yeah, I would say that's probably got to be the one that kids were playing forever, just because all you needed was a ball and a stick. But football, a little bit more complicated. You need the pads, the equipment and everything, which those didn't even exist back in the 1860s, so thankfully we have some safety precautions now with helmets.
I think, from what you're telling us, I think Camp deserves a little bit more of a yay, man, because he brought an awful lot to an awful lot of people.
Absolutely.
Stuff that didn't exist prior to him getting, was it 11 people at the beginning?
He was the one that implemented the 11 versus 11.
He implemented
Absolutely,
everything.
Yeah, so it wasn't 11v11 at first. The first game was actually Rutgers versus Princeton in 1869, pair of colleges. So now it's just evolved. I mean, we've gone from college football, now we got the pros, you got all these sorts of different levels of the sport, especially here in the 4 states, high school football. That's a big one.
Yeah, oh man, that keeps you busy on Friday night.
Definitely,
right?
yeah.
All right, well, and now the whole world knows a little bit more about Mr. Camp, and it's thanks to you and our question asker. All right, we got question 1 done. Who is asking question 2?
Hi, my name is Kevin. I am 8 years old. Who was the first soccer player in soccer?
Kevin, what an incredible question. We've got an awful lot of questions about really old sports. I think maybe that's because I'm hosting this show. I don't know. Thank you.
History's fun. History's fun. We all
History is fun, and it's fun to learn about all of these things that we just take for granted have been around for all our lifetimes. Turns out not so much. Let's go ahead and answer that question.
Absolutely. This is one I had to do a little bit of research on myself. So there is kind of a few answers to this, but really the one that's mostly recognized as the first professional soccer player is Fergus Suter. He was a Scottish stonemason that moved to England in the 1860s. He played for some iconic clubs, including Blackburn Rovers, which are a club still pretty prominent in England. They won the Premier League in 1995, but this again is dating back to the 1860s. So that's when the first true professional soccer player was, and that was in 1869, 1870, around that range.
So when did soccer start to make its way overseas and get to the United States?
That's a great question. Definitely not until at least the 1900s. I would say it really didn't become popularized until Pele made his way into the MLS, or not the MLS exactly, but the USL, the United Soccer League. There was a lot of different leagues before the MLS came to be in the United States, but Pele came over, kind of brought that attention to the sport in the 1900s. So it's been a long journey to get the sport where it is today in the United States, but it is still growing. We still have a lot of work to do.
And when were Pele's golden years? I mean, I am well aware of him being the name of soccer. I don't know all of that, the other stuff that you do, though.
Off the top of my head, I'm having to think. I believe it was sometime in the late 60s or
Yeah,
late 70s.
I'm sure you're right. Yeah,
I think so.
I think a lot of people, like when I was growing up, that was not played in high schools, at least not here in the Midwest, because I grew up over in Parsons. So there wasn't a lot of soccer players. If there were, they weren't inviting me, which is, it's kind of rude, you know, now that I think back on it.
Well, hey, now it's definitely grown even in the 4 states. I mean, Carl Junction soccer just made a bit of a run in the postseason. Carthage soccer had some big games. I know this question coming from a Carthage student. So, yeah, just a lot of action in the 4 states as well, too. It's definitely grown in America, but as I said, we still got some work to do to catch up to those European countries and clubs as we just saw in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I know it'll happen. All right, 2 questions down. We've got another great question coming up, and I think here it comes right now.
My name is Coulter and I'm 8 years old, and my question is, how are baseballs made?
Great question, Coulter. I know that there's a horse involved, but I'm going to have to leave it to the expert to explain how baseballs, and there's one, is that a baseball behind
Yeah,
me?
it's one cut up, kind of an old school one, it looks like.
Looks like a meatball. This is the way my wife makes meatballs, I think.
It's got a little bit of dirt on it. That's how you know it's been used for some home runs before.
And that's how you know my wife made it, too. So she's not going to see this. So how do these things get made?
It's a pretty extensive process. It starts with a little tightly dense round cork rubber ball.
And that's what this thing is.
Yes, that's what this part right here is. It's a big cork essentially, and then it's coated in rubber and glue, and then after that, 1,000 feet of yarn, which is quite a lot of yarn for every single baseball like that.
Do they measure it to make sure that they're all...
I'm pretty sure they're precise. Now, not
Okay.
every single ball is produced the exact same because there's a lot of human element. Now, obviously, some companies like Rawlings are going to have a robotic system almost in
Right.
place. But then it might vary from company to company. It might vary from year to year how the production is. But once they get that yarn on that little cork ball, it's wrapped around with 3 different layers, 3 different types of yarn. And then you go from there, you get the 2 leather hide pieces placed over it, and then the iconic red stitches tied all together. And here's a little fun fact.
Okay.
The red stitches, it is exactly 108 stitches, hand done every single time. So that's a pretty cool, interesting fact about those.
Was it been read from the inception?
Yes, yeah, to my knowledge
Always
it has.
red.
Always red, to my knowledge, yep.
Fascinating. How do they control all this? Because obviously people are going to want to be aware of potential cheating. Do they weigh the baseballs before they're taken out to the field? How does that happen?
There's a huge testing process. I mean, you're going to have players pitching them, you're going to have players hitting them, you're going to have them, like you mentioned, weighing them, kind of testing them.
They
compared
do
to previous
that.
balls. They do a lot just to make sure that they're not juiced, so to speak, because there have been, some conspiracies in years past regarding Major League Baseball as to whether or not the baseballs had a little bit of extra bounce, and actually that yarn that we mentioned is what gives the balls the bounce off of the bat.
Oh, interesting. Have they ever found any actual cheating going on in the manufacturing of baseball?
To my knowledge, the cheating has never been in the manufacturing. It's actually just been more with what the players are doing off the field. But
Guys,
now there is, a lot of discourse before regarding Major League Baseball in terms of the evolution of the baseballs, because there's some statistics. I mean, some years home runs way up, some years home runs way down. So people kind of aren't sure if that's because of the production of baseball changing from one year to another year, but they try their best to keep them exactly the same, but it is not going to be 100% identical.
are those precise measurements that they do to the baseball, do they do the same with the bats?
Now, yeah, that's another process in of itself. It's a whole lengthy one, but they don't. Now, the question for that is if there's going to be cork inside the bat. They do test that for weighing it, because if it's going to be a lot lighter than a typical bat, it's going to get extra bounce, it's going to
Sure.
pop a little bit more. So they do kind of a similar weight test, so to speak, with the bats.
So is there cork in bats?
No,
I don't
no.
know stuff.
You don't want a
I
cork
know
in a
no
bat.
stuff.
Cork in a bat is cheating. Don't put a cork in a bat.
Keep those corks in the fishing lures.
Or just in the middle of the baseballs right there. Those are fine.
Yeah, we don't want them cohabitating. All right, this is good. I'm learning an awful lot, and hopefully all of these great 8-year-olds are too. In fact, here's another one now with a great question.
My name is Landry and I'm 8 years old, and my question is, how are baseball bats made?
Psychically, I knew that there was going to be a manufacturing of bat questions. I mean, I just felt it in the air. Did
Yeah,
you
of course,
feel that?
Of course. Yeah, we knew it was coming. We knew it was coming.
Yeah, so nothing fools us. So that was a great question, and now we've got a pretty good handle on how baseballs are made. We want to get that same handle on how the bat process works.
Absolutely. It's, again, a pretty extensive process, and I actually had the chance right here in Joplin, Home Run Bat Company, just down the road off Schifferdecker. They make bats right there, so I got an up-close and personal
Major
look.
League Baseball bats?
Not for Major League Baseball,
Okay.
but for other organizations. You know,
Okay.
they've provided them for Division II baseball tournaments, for youth tournaments, high school events.
Well, that's cool.
And a lot of custom bats as well. But so I got to see it up close and personal. It starts with a giant chunk of wood, and then eventually that chunk of wood is going to be cut down into little rectangle tubes almost that are called billets. And then from there, you're going to put it into a pretty technologically advanced spin machine that makes a really loud noise.
Is it a lathe or is it a spin machine?
It's a spin machine. Yeah,
spin
so,
machine that has its antecedents in a lathe.
Yes, it makes the shape essentially. So that's what's going to spin it down from that big chunk square wood essentially into the handle, that kind of like top at the or thicker base at the top.
Right.
And then that's the shape that you get from there, and then you're going to sand it down because, of course, you don't want the wood shavings in there. You don't want any splinters.
No.
So you got to sand it down on
And
the
is that
wood.
through machines? Do machines do the sanding, or do they actually have professional sanders?
It's a professional sander. So it's through a machine, but it's also a person doing it. At least where I saw it done, they put it in there. It basically just spins it really, really fast so that all the person has to do is just hold the sanding and like maybe move it over, move it across. And
That
it'll
would
just be
scare
spinning really
me.
fast. Oh my God, I know.
Your hand comes off, and you got the worst splinters you've ever had.
Absolutely. No, even the noise was a little bit spooky just with all the
Really?
wood shavings and
Did you have to
everything.
put headphones on? or
Not
those
that
little-
loud, not that loud, but it is definitely almost like a car motor almost in that little building right there. But then once you get the shape, once you sand it down, the last thing to do is coat it, paint it, gloss it, whatever you want to do, put some branding on it. I mean, obviously you got some big brands like Louisville Slugger, so just get the logo on there and you're done, you're ready to go, it's ready to hit.
To have a real dumb question from a guy who doesn't know much about baseball. That would be me. When I was growing up, baseballs had a little tape on the bottom. Why don't they?
The baseball bats?
Yeah, baseball bats.
Well, sometimes people still do it for grip. I mean, a lot of times now it's kind of,
So National League baseball players will occasionally still use the tape?
it's occasionally just like little light layers.
Yeah,
But you don't,
they're allowed.
as far as I know,
Okay.
yeah. I hope I'm not wrong on that one.
You're
but-
never wrong.
But now if you see metal bats, those are gonna have like true rubber grips, like with the gloves, everything. Now baseball or Major League Baseball, once you get to the wooden bats a little bit, not as true grip, but you got the gloves still, so you're ready to go.
Okay, can we handle one more dumb question? I'm looking at Priscilla, and she said yes. So here's my other dumb question. So we've talked about the tape and everything. You talked about metal bats versus wooden bats. Are metal bats ever used in professional baseball?
No.
Never,
They are
ever,
not.
ever.
Never in Major
Was
League
there ever
Baseball.
any talk of it?
As far as I know, it has never been in Major League Baseball or
But it
even
makes
the
such
minor
a cool
league system.
sound.
It does. I mean, it's in college baseball.
Yeah.
So,
Why?
It's a great question, honestly. I think it's just to differentiate. The wooden bat is definitely a lot more of a challenge because with the metal bat, you're going to get a lot more pop. It's just almost effortless, whereas with the wood, you really have to drive that contact through the
Maybe
ball.
that's why.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot harder. It's a skill gap for sure, going from metal to wood.
Man, who would come up with all of these incredible answers to all these incredible questions? None other than our own Ryan Bunnell. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you for watching, and for all of the other questions that come in, talk to your teachers and talk to your school administrators, because maybe you too can get your question answered on Tell Me Why.